Hello and welcome back to Shout Things. And today we're going to swing a little bit different than normal. No gameplay today. I want to talk about a few things and talk about, I want to talk about a few things about the channel and also talk about this leader. As I'm very excited for this. For those who don't know, I'm a massive Vivi fan. I love the OP04 leader. I love the character. Really excited that they're releasing a new one, a just honestly straight power crept version of the old. And yeah, I want to check it out. I also want to talk about some deck lists for her that are just like on release, like day one deck list, day zero, I guess, deck lists. So yeah, let's start with the leader. So this is Dr. Vivi. She's a Red Bull leader from EB0301, 4 life, 5000 power / attribute for what it's worth. Alabasta Kingdom typing. Now, to my knowledge, there's no Alabasta Kingdom lock cards. All of the cards that were Alabasta Kingdom, like quote unquote locked, were either locked to Vivi or reduce your active leader's power by 5,000 to kind of work with the fact that Vivi can't attack. So that's how they did Vivi's like support, right? Her effects, well, she has 2 effects. So first off, once per turn, when one of your characters with an original cost of 4 greater would be KO'd, you may instead trash 1 card from your hand. Now, this is very specific wording. This is not just KO'd by effects, this is also KO'd in battle. So, much like Gabriel Rosinante, you can defend your board very easily. If they swing really big into a character, you can just trash 1 card from your hand instead of, you can let them go and trash 1 card from your hand. If they try to remove a character, you can also just trash 1 card from your hand. This does lend her to also be a little bit brickier. You don't have to defend your board like with counter. If they're swinging your board, you can just let it go and get a brick out of your hand. So this is a very strong first effect. And also, it's not type locked to anything, which is relevant. None of her leader builds are type locked to anything, which is very surprising for how strong they are. Her next effect is Activate Main. You may rest this leader. Give to one of your opponent's characters minus 2,000 power for this turn. Then give to one of your characters without a when attacking ability Rush for this turn. Now, this does not have a cost limit, which is insane. This is like the most freely designed leader that they've ever printed. There's no type blocking. There's no conditions. It is just like, you can do this. You can do whatever you want. You can defend everything. You can give anything Rush. Besides the when attacking. But that's fine. There's very few good when attacking cards. But first, okay, let's just, again, go over this one part by part. You may rest this leader. So first off, she effectively cannot attack in the turns you want to use this effect, which is fine. She doesn't necessarily need to attack every turn when you're giving the character Rush anyway. Then you give to one of your opponent's characters minus 2,000 power during this turn. This can combo with removal if you want, but normally you're going to be playing a character, giving it Rush, and then swinging into a character. And getting a minus 2,000 power difference is insane when that's like an entire 2k, right? Your opponent's board is very rarely going to stick. And then you give to one of your characters without a when attacking ability Rush. This is very similar to Red Sanji, except Red Sanji would not give on plays Rush. On plays are way stronger than when attacking effects 99% of the time. There's very few when attacking effects in this game you're really trying to give Rush to get value out of. At least, like, even with the old Vivi lists, we were mostly capitalizing on the blue 4-cost Cavendish that had when attacking draw 2 and trash 1, and the red 6-cost Law that had when attacking give a character minus 2,000 power during this turn. Now we have the minus 2,000 power built in, you don't need the Law as much, and Cavendish can be subbed out for Marco. So really, missing on those cards isn't all that much, when now we have access to like 10-cost Shanks that kills a 10k power or less on play, or 10-cost Kaido that draws 4 on play, and you're giving those Rush as well. That's kind of bonkers. So let's hop into just a little bit of a current deck list of what I would throw together if I was playing her right now. Yeah, let's check out that. Alright, so here's the deck list I'm currently working with. So let's go over this like part by part. Let's start with the 2Ks. So first off, we have Lime Juice. On play, up to 1 of your plus characters with a power of 4,000 or less cannot activate Blocker during this turn. Easy to go for lethal with, just generically good 2K. It's either this or Red Otama, but Red Otama rotates out pretty much immediately after the set releases in the West, like 2 months after. So I think Lime Juice is just a little better, and with how many chump blockers are going to be in the game because of Roger, I think this card's definitely worthwhile. We also have the 6-cost Uta. This is a 6-cost 4k 2k counter blocker. If you have a character with 10,000 power or more, get this card in your hand minus 4 cost. There's a lot of 12ks in this deck, so this card just naturally is a chump blocker late game that also has 2k counter early game. Very, very strong 2k. We also have Otama. On play, if you have 3 less life cards, draw 2 cards and trash a card from your hand. This is an OP13 card, as well as a couple others. I'll mention them when I see them, but This just generically get 2k, that can be returned to hand with Jozu to get max value. And for that matter, I am also running Jozu I'm running kind of these two to combo with each other and remove 6 drops. It's a little high rolly, but I definitely think it's worth it. And there's not that many good cards outside of the core for this Vivi right now, so we're kind of waiting for EB03 to hit us with the rest of the support to kind of see where the decklist is going to settle. But right now, these two just combo and send them well together, just as a good 2k. Outside of that, it's a good card. Moving on to kind of the core of the deck. It's mainly this guy. This is a 10 cost, 12k boss monster, basically. And it says, on play, if your opponent has 3 or less life, you just draw 4 cards. There's no trashing. You just draw 4. Now, this card's been out since OP05, and has historically been kind of weak, honestly. It's very slow, and a boss that just draws 4 cards doesn't do a whole lot for you. But now, this thing suddenly has Rush. So it is just a body that says 10 cost, 12k, draw 4 cards, Rush. Like, that's bonkers. We've never been able to rush 12k bodies in this game outside of exactly the 7 cost secret rare Vivi from OP04 that could give your KO Shanks Rush, pretty much. But being able to give this thing Rush completely removes the issue of it being too slow. I think this is a 4 of in this deck, and I don't, like, there's no top end to me that outvalues draw 4 12k Rush in any scenario late game. If you can start chaining these, you'll just win eventually, because you are hitting your opponent harder and faster than they are hitting you, and you are getting way more value out of these bosses than your opponent likely is. To go with this, we also have Pop Shanks. This is worse than Kaido in my opinion, but situationally better. On play, you KO a 10 careless character. This is a great effect. Very powerful top end in general. It's still kind of slow, but you're removing a body immediately, and then you can give it Rush and remove another body. The issue comes from the fact that OP13, which this releases after OP14 from my understanding, in the West. I'm not really sure how those schedules line up, so don't quote me on anything. But from my understanding, OP13 is currently in an anti-removal meta. Emu refuses to let his cards be removed because every card says this card can't be removed. On top of that, a lot of the bodies are really big, so you're not usually going to be getting Rush out of this due to the fact that you have to use your leader ability beforehand to remove the main boss monster as of OP13, this new gate. So you're going to usually be popping your leader effect, reducing this new gate, and then hitting it with Shanks. Or you can hit something smaller with Shanks and still give the Shanks Rush, which is usually more ideal, but obviously situational, right? Depending on which one you want to do. I just think this Kaido's better. I really can't express enough how important I think this Kaido is to this deck. I don't run 4 of top ends in my decks. Like, I don't think they're worth it. But this Kaido, like, the idea that every turn, like 3 turns in a row, you're hitting draw 4 12k Rush, that just sounds game-breaking to me. Now, for the support cards of the deck, we have 5 cost Marco. On play, you KO with 3 careless, and then on KO, you may trash an event card from your hand and play this card from your trash as rested. It has a good stat line, being a 5 cost 6k, and it has 1,000 counters, so it's never a brick. On 5 Dawn, you can use your lead ability beforehand, reduce a 5k body down to 3, and then kill it. And there's a lot of 5k, there's going to be a lot of 5k bodies that are going to be being played on 4. You know, that's just generally, there's not a lot of 4 cost 6ks besides like this Marco. So being able to move a 5k that early is very powerful. We also have 6 cost Law. You can't give this, once per turn, this character will be removed from the field by your opponent's effect. You may give this character minus 2,000 power during this turn instead. When attacking, give it to one of your opponent's characters minus 2,000 power during this turn. You can't give this Rush, it has when attacking. But you can just drop it on 6, and then from every turn afterwards, you're getting way more value out of your Rayleighs, your Beckmans, and your Shanks. And that's really good. Also, your Phoenix Pyre Apple for what it's worth. We'll go over this card in a minute. But this command leader ability, getting minus 4k to a body every single turn, is incredibly strong. You're not usually dropping this past 6 or 7, but it has counter, so that's okay. We have Beckman. Beckman is also, this is guaranteed to be a 4 of staple. You know, Kaido might come down if the meta didn't work for it, if you got better support. Beckman is going to be a 4 in this deck. On play, you trash a 6 careless. That's it. You can give it Rush afterwards. Beckman's a 4 of in pretty much every red control deck in general. It's very, very good. The only exception to this might be Marco. I don't play a lot of Marco, don't quote me on that. But giving this rush after it's played, it's a 7k body, so you're swinging into something, you're immediately getting rid of it. It's very good. It's a very, very good card to have. Same with Rayleigh. Rayleigh is on play. Choose 2 of your opponent's characters. Until the end of your opponent's next turn, give one character minus 2,000 power and the other minus 2,000 power. After this, give up to one of your opponent's characters with 2,000 power or less. So you get minus 3k on one body, minus 2k on another, and then you rest your leader, give another body, minus 2k again, so minus 4k total on something, and then you rush an 8k into it. This works. This is great. You are like absolutely demolishing 2 bodies on their field, right? This is good. A lot of this deck is just good. So many of these cards are just good. And Vivi is just getting extra value out of cards that are already generically very powerful. Next to it, this 4-cost 6k Marco from PRBO2. Blocker on KO, draw 2 cards. This is going to help you refill your hand size, which is what the blue side of this deck is mainly focused on. This leader does not have a lot of draw power built in. In fact, it kind of has the opposite. But as we move forward with One Piece, draw power is going to continue to be pretty much the most important facet of a lot of decks. And while Vivi has a lot of card advantage because she's reducing power to swing into and kind of just naturally generating, you're gonna need to counter more for their characters and you counter less for yours because you can just let them die and pop your leader effect anyway. You want draw power to further build that gap. So this is a great perpetrator, because this is a great draw engine. That's the term I've been looking for in these recordings. It is a great draw engine. Up next is Yamato. 5-cost 6k, 1,000 counter, on play. If you have 3 or less life cards, draw 2 cards. Then give up to 1 rested Dawn card to your leader. The 1 rested Dawn card is mostly irrelevant. It does let you, without swing 6k without resting Yamato and using your leader ability, so that's nice, but it's again mostly the draw 2. We want more draw 2s. Having 3 or less life is not hard when you're a 4-life leader. If you're not at 3 or less life by 5 Dawn, your opponent is in a bad spot. But this is just another strong card. It's not as powerful as some of our other cards, but just mid-game, you want to be drawing. In my opinion, that's where I see this leader doing. It's just doing a lot of drawing. So late game, your hand is full, right? Up next, you have Jozu. This is just on play. You may return one of your characters other than this card to your hand, then return up to 1 cost 6 character to the original owner's hand. So you can bounce 2 of your own dudes. Usually you're just going to be playing Sotama, bouncing with Sotama, and then bouncing one of your opponent's characters, and then you can rush them into another. I think these kind of mid-game removal pieces are really powerful for this deck because you're moving one body and swinging to another at a reduced power. So you're helping just kind of build the early game gap between you and your opponent. And when your opponent can't enter your board because you have, universal removal protection, that's very strong. So yeah, Jozu is just a good card. This is one of the ones I see maybe getting cut if Vivi gets support, like good natural support in EB03. But for the time being, it's probably the best in-slot card for what we want it to do besides Beckman. Now, next into our events, we have 1 Batman's Kit course. It's just, your deck's kind of bricky. You're running like 13, which isn't a lot, all things considered. Not counting counter events. I don't count counter events in bricks. But 13 bricks isn't that many, especially when you're trashing cards with your leader ability. But sometimes it's just nice to have this in hand. I don't think it's ever bad to run 1 of Badmanners at least. We also have 3 Slave Arrow. Slave Arrow is very specifically for the Green Zoro matchup, which I expect will be one of the harder ones for this deck, because he's always swinging at leader and life, and your life is going to be kind of fragile. So, if this leader has battled a character during your has battled an opponent's character during this turn, you can set him as active. Now, if you return a character to hand with Slave Arrow that he is currently battling, it does not count as him having battled a character, which means his leader cannot restand. So you are both returning a character to hand, so you don't necessarily lose it, and then you are also negating his leader swing, which is just great. And it also lets you return something like a draw 4 Kaido to hand. Well, I guess not really, because you would be able to play them both in the same turn, but you kind of get the idea. You can bounce a Rayleigh back to hand, or a Jozu if you just want to recycle that on play and get, maybe like more card draw, or you want to pop something, or you want to bounce something again. This is great for that. And it's also hand neutral, because while you're losing a card from your hand, you're returning a body to hand from board. Now, unfortunately, this does say you may return a cost 2 or higher character, so you can't bounce Otama. But 4k counter for 1 card can really interfere with your opponent's math, and it's just generically good card. Now, finally, we have here Phoenix Pineapple. This is a 1 cost, so this is either a 3k power counter for leader, which most events are nowadays, or you can rest 2 down total and bottom deck a 3k or less. This is really just a mid-game tool, maybe like a 3, or not necessarily a 3 dawn turn, but like a 4 dawn turn if you're not seeing your Marco, or maybe late game with Rayleigh in combination with your leader effect to bottom deck, a 5k body or a 7k body, where you're just getting a lot of extra value out of this. This card's just good. You can run Divine Departure in the slot, and actually, originally, I had Divine Departure slotted in. But Pineapple works with Rayleigh and is cheaper, and I think it's just generically better than Divine Departure, at least for this specific leader, because we have power reduction built in. So, yeah, that's why I run this card, and that's actually why, that's my list. Well, okay, that's the list. This is like day 0, right? We don't know where the leader's going to go in the future. We don't know what kind of support it's going to get. We'll see that as time comes. And honestly, if more support, like major support, is revealed, I'm definitely going to cover it in more of these videos. Because I'm very, very excited for this leader. But yeah, that is my current deck list. So, what cards do I think you should invest in like right now? If you wanted to play EB03 Vivi in the West or East, what do I think you should get? So, there's one, besides the things in this deck list, I do want to talk about this new game. So this says, on play, give your leader one of your characters up to 1 rested dump card, and then activate main, you may rest this character, and you KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 5,000 or less power. This could be very strong. I wouldn't suggest getting it now. I don't think there's going to be a ton of use for this card at the moment, but when you have minus 2k on your leader every turn, this is good. Now, unless the meta shifts away from Emu and kind of a complete lack of mid-game removal, I think it's going to be kind of hard to use. But if it does shift away from that, you're in a great spot to run this card. So yeah, maybe pick up 2 or 3 of these. You probably need to see more than like 1 a game, because outside of Red Rock, nothing's getting rid of it, because you have the KO protection. But it's just a generically good card. Now, I also think that KO Shanks, Rayleigh, and Beckman are pretty much going to be in this deck in some essence, no matter what. If you don't like KO Shanks, you can run the other 10 cost Kaido, the blue one, the bounce one. Play return to 1 character with the cost of 8 or less, and 1 character with the cost of 3 or less to the owner's hand. Really, this deck wants to work off of 10 cost 12k bodies, because you give them rush. I don't see a world where your win condition is not just spamming big guys and getting extra rush value out of them. Now, do I think KO Shanks is better than Kaido? Probably. There's not a lot of KO protection, it's mostly just straight removal protection, so Shanks is hitting bigger guys. But if we ever shifted towards more smaller bodies, if you ever ran like a Searcher build, Kaido could definitely be good. But right now, your main target you want to remove is this blue Nugate, as far as big bosses go. And KO Shanks does it best. You leader effect, you Shanks, you get rid of it. And that is a great tempo play. That's the term I'm looking for. What else? Kaido. Get Kaido. This is just get 4 Kaido. It's cheap. It might go up. It might not. But it's really cheap and it's really strong. Get 4 Kaido. If you want to play this deck, get 4 Kaido. This is your win condition. It is. If you're in the East, and also as the sets approach us Western players, pick up 4 cost Marco and Law. These cards are going to be very important for this deck, I feel. It's usually either Law or Cavendish. I think Cavendish is a little slow because we can't give it rush due to the fact it's when attacking. But it's also when attacking, which means you're getting value out of it every turn. And it's a very strong when attacking effect for draw 2, trash 1. In my previous old Vivi testing, where you also run Cavendish or Marco, I find that Marco is slightly better because there's a lot of KO removal, but come EB03, it might shift more towards Cavendish's favor. I don't know. I like the fact that Marco's also a blocker, but these do share the same slot, and I think Marco is generally more favored. Also, 5 cost Yamato. This card just says draw 2 on play. Draw 2 on play is very good. I don't think I need to talk too much about that. Draw 2 on play. We'll probably end up running this card unless Bandai prints a blue card in EB03 for Vivi that says draw cards in some form. I think you want that mid-game just draw power, and this is the best way to do it outside of Marco. Like these are just the two best mid-game draw cards. This leader probably will suffer from not having a ton of cards at hand, being a 4-life leader who doesn't naturally draw through their effect or kind of have natural defense. Obviously, your board is very threatening, but if your opponent just focuses your life, it could be a problem. So I think you're always going to want some kind of 4 to 6 cost draw power, and I think Yamato is the best case for that. There is also a 5 cost Nami. If you prefer Nami, invest in this as well. Both are good. I lean more towards Yamato as it's bigger, as it draws more, but this is a blocker, so both are good. Is there any other cards I think are worth it at the moment? Probably nothing expensive. If you want to pick up like some bulk, you could. Red Otama will be good for the time between when it releases and when she rotates out. But other than that, those are the relevant cards that are probably going to go up in price the most. And that's my Day 0 deck list. Yeah, I hope that they do print some good EB03 support. They are kind of 50-50 on support, to be honest. If you look at Green Purple Luffy, he obviously got 2 very, very strong cards, as well as a boat that helped him solve his main issue. But if you look at like EB01, EB01, while it had a lot of really good cards, kind of had some like 50-50 support. Like Kairos got nothing. Kairos got Viola, and that's literally it. Obviously you had Brook and Laboon, and these are good cards, but these were not Kairos support. Like Odin got Izo, and Izo's good, but outside of Izo and kind of Hiyori, he didn't really get anything good here. So if they lean more towards this idea with the extra booster, we could be in trouble as far as support goes. But if they lean more towards like EB02, where it's less support for old leaders and more like, hey, we're going to drop this leader and buff the crap out of it, and then other colors will get stuff too, then it'll probably be good. However, Vivi is not a character that sells as well as Luffy does. So it's worth noting that it's probably unlikely that we're going to get as good a support as Luffy did. With all that in mind, I think this league is going to be very, very strong. It is just generically a very good effect, and being able to even give this Kaido rush, I think is enough to make it relevant. This seems insane to me. I can't express enough how much I think that this card is going to be like the definition of the deck leaking. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the kind of leader introduction / deck breakdown. There's some more after this, but if you're just here for the BB stuff, that's it. The rest of the video is mostly analytics, questions, evaluations, content-wise. And yeah, let's hop into that. Okay, so to the more, to the secondary aspect of this video, I'm just kind of curious what you guys, I guess, watch my content for. Do you watch because I play Shanks, or do you watch because, like, I play Shanks, I guess is the question. Would you guys be interested if I played other leaders, or would you like me to stick to Shanks? I will always primarily play what I in person am primarily playing. And with the release of this Vivi, you can probably expect that come EB03, it will be this Vivi, and I will be making a lot of content on this Vivi because I already love this deck. However, if you guys don't want to see that stuff, like maybe, I don't know, maybe I keep a focus on Shanks, or I try to keep making Shanks work. I want to make this, and I probably will end up making this, but I want to know if you guys would watch that, or if I need to sort of set myself up to be more than just like a Shanks player moving forward, if that makes sense. Also, did you guys enjoy like this video? It was a lot different from what I normally do. There was like no gameplay, which is, I usually try to commentate over gameplay, and this was a lot more kind of just rambly about a leader I'm excited for. And it probably came off a little bit more geeky than normal. But like, as far as stuff like this goes, I'd like to make more. It's cool to talk about new cards that are coming out, you know? There's a lot of new stuff coming out nowadays with the new sets and like EBO stuff, like Extra Booster and, you know, Premium, like the best of, and just standard sets and starters. And we have a lot of new cards coming out soon. So if you guys want to see more non-sim gameplay content, like, let me know. This video, there's like, maybe I can make like a dedicated portion of the week where like I just post a video like this, and maybe this can be what I do on my Sundays, because admittedly Sundays are the hardest days for me to record stuff for. So like if you want to see that, like let me know. Just like let me know down below what you guys want. Or if you guys, why you guys watch my stuff, all that good stuff. I've been trying to keep up with like analytics and like watching like what works and like what works thumbnail wise and title wise and like what videos gain traction and what don't. And as I'm kind of grasping that, I want to hear from you guys as well. So yeah, just let me know what you enjoy, what you don't, what you like, what you don't. And if you guys want to see more stuff like this, and if you want to see more non-Shanks content, I can make that as well. I'm looking at Bella Betty right now for OP13 and OP04 Vivi for PRVO2. And obviously when this leader releases, I'll be playing a lot of this leader. So yeah, just let me know where you're kind of at with my content. And on that note, I think that's probably the end of this video. Again, I do apologize if this came off a little, I don't know, maybe like worse quality-wise than my other stuff. This leader was revealed like, I don't know, what time is it? Yeah, like 6 hours ago. It's like 2 a.m. 5 hours ago. So like I wanted to kind of get this out because I was excited and I had a list in mind that I wanted to show off. So yeah, that's that. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you tomorrow with something. I don't know. We'll see. Again, Sundays are hard for me to record for, so I'll try to make something. I kind of want to make a bit of more of a modern Shanks guide, so I'm gonna try to put some time into that. Yeah, and we'll see what happens. So I will see you next time. I hope you enjoy. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down below, and let me know what kind of content you want to see. And on that note, I will see you next time.